What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Season 2 of Track Talkers. Where we at, Ty?
Well, we're going to be talking about Southwick. The Wick happened this weekend, and there is a lot to talk about this weekend.
There is a lot to talk about. The track was really rough. A lot more than that to talk about as well. We do have a special guest on the line, was absolutely ripping this weekend. Michaels Reno Power Sports, Stan Benson Racing, the number 42. Welcome to the show, Harry Kulas. How's it going, bro?
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. No, it's going good. Typical Sunday after the race, especially sun race.
Yeah, how was the track this weekend? You guys got to go first. I don't know, Ty, how do you feel about the boys getting to go first on the 450s? Like, I definitely think it's a nice change up to have a smoother track.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely tell that there wasn't a lot of time on the track when they first started. I mean, obviously it's rough from practice, but it definitely got a lot rougher when you watch like the first lap compared to the last lap.
Harry, how was it for you? Like, it looked way less rough that first moto and really fast. How did you like it? What was your take on that?
Yeah, obviously 450 was first this weekend, so I was kind of worried, like, maybe the track will be too smooth for us.
Yeah.
And first race, it was, you will find like easy, nice flat lines, entering the corners. But second race, it got really rough. Like I was thinking like before the weekend we're gonna have like easy track this time, but no, it was really rough. Like not as rough as Lommel or GP tracks, but for pro motocross it was nice. I mean, I really enjoyed that it was that rough, and it had pretty good flow this year. I felt like. The sand being a little bit drier, a little bit hard pace some places. So I found like pretty good flow this year, and I really enjoyed racing Southwick, the only sand track we have this year in the calendar or any year.
Yeah, for sure. You definitely obviously were very comfortable on the track with a 9 in the first moto and a 13th in the second moto. How many times, Harry, have you been to Southwick? And I guess, do you find yourself calling yourself like a sand specialist, or, is it just another track?
No, I mean, I enjoy riding hardpack also, but I think sand is pretty easy for me because I'm from Estonia, Finland, and we have loads of sand tracks there. Yeah. And I lived in Belgium, Lommel, for 16 years. So I mean, I've been on the sand track. So definitely, I was looking forward for Southwick because I enjoy when the track gets really rough and you have to, have good fitness and pick your lines and have the flow for 35 minutes. So it was nice to go there. It's physically demanding, so. No, I was really looking forward, and that's why obviously I got more confidence going into the weekend. And but yeah, like we said, like the 450 going first, it's nice change. I was a bit worried if the track's gonna be too flat, but it was good, and I enjoyed that. But yeah, I think it's nice to have the 450 first. Especially, I enjoy having like Washougal and the hardpack tracks where you can have the moisture in the dirt during the day. Because the race day is getting really hot, so it can try out more for the second races sometimes. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to switch up things, and we go first in the morning and then make maybe different lines with bigger bikes sometimes, and just switch up. It's pretty cool, like it can't be always the same, and I think that's why Americans can switch up like really quick, because obviously time practice is only 15 minutes. You have to go from second lap wide open and 450 first to 50 first. So
yeah. How many years have you been racing the pro motocross? It hasn't been very long, only 2, right?
Yeah. Oh, you asked me how many times I've been Southwick. I only been this was second time. So last year I did 2 years ago. I did 3 rounds, the last 3.
Yeah.
And then last year I did 9 out of 11 just on my own with friends helping around, and my wife traveling with the suspension, with my father-in-law back to Estonia, back to America. It was pretty long season last year to do it on our own.
Yeah.
But luckily we had pretty good results and made SMX, and guys saw me, and they picked me for the MRP SPR racing team, and I'm really happy to be racing obviously full season this year. Unfortunately, I crashed out with Superos, but like we are back for the outdoors, and really, it's been good, and I mean second full season for me. So so far I've been still enjoying it here, and I enjoy the race days, 1 day format. The tracks are, for me, I like them better than Europe. You know, they are not as sketchy or bumpy sometimes, but the dirt is so much nicer, and the layouts, bigger jumps. So, I mean, it's just like the way I prefer, at least.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, Harry. So it's Tyler. We're texting, kind of setting this whole thing up. For a lot of people that aren't fans of you, and they can be right now. Like, so you did get hurt in the off season or in the Supercross season. Like, are you 100% back? Like, what can we expect from Harry from the rest of this outdoor season?
I mean, once I got the surgery, I was fine after that. Like, I broke my sternum, and it was painful when I did it, but that was actually week leading to Daytona, and I meant to kind of switch to 450 for the rest of the Superos, like just my style, so it's 450 more. So I had just crashed out and broke the sternum, but I was fine after the surgery. I had no pain. Waited like 6 weeks, got back on the bike, and started riding, getting ready for the outdoors with 450, and here we are, 5 rounds in and 6 to go. So we are kind of halfway, and next couple tracks like RedBud, Spring Creek, they're really nice, a little bit sandy. So I'm really looking forward for those tracks.
Yeah,
I mean, a little bit sandy, just to be clear.
They're good though. I know what you're talking about, because they have that big sandy roll section, and then they just prep them so loamy, and then they throw they throw sand and mulch on top. So it's, Ty and I were talking about it. It's almost virtually like a hard packed sand track in a way. It's definitely not like Washougal or High Point or anything like that. The dirt pushes. It has that kind of sandy feel to it, which obviously you like. I want to go back a little bit. Like, what was your best result overseas before you got here, Harry? And what did you kind of expect for yourself these 2 years out of pro motocross?
You mean overseas back in Europe?
Yes.
Yeah. So I did I think 7 years GP. So I got 1-time podium in 250 class. So I think that's one of the best.
Yep.
We had a couple good destination races also. Finished 4th with Team Estonia, and I had pretty good individual scores in those races.
Yeah.
I had a couple good seasons in England. It's been like I've been racing a little bit everywhere. Second in German championship, second in Spanish championship, couple times second in England. Won couple titles in England as well.
Yeah.
So the GP. So I've been a little bit everywhere, and then obviously the GP privateer life is pretty difficult. Even the smaller teams, it's really hard to get any salary, or there is no prize money. So just to survive or to get to the races, you have to pay the entry. So it's like really hard to survive.
Yeah.
So obviously I wanted to come and try this pro motocross. So I had a chance 2023. So 2 years ago, I did the last 3, which was really awesome experience. And my team in England, they support me the trip. I had friends from Canada, from America, just to put all that together. And we did those 3 rounds. And the first race ever I did was Unadilla. We came here. I had stock 450 Yamaha, but I had all my parts in there, like suspension, triple clamps, clutch, things like that.
Yeah, totally.
And both starts, I started next to Jett Lawrence, so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
So
That's
I had
sweet.
that was pretty good start, and I finished 7-7 and 6th overall. So that was pretty nice, nice first ever AMA round for me.
Yeah.
And obviously I really enjoyed those 3 rounds, those races, and last year 24 was my goal to do a couple rounds and maybe get some feeling right. And but I never got the feeling right, but I got really good summer.
Yep.
Southwick, RedBud, Spring Creek, I scored 9th overall all those weekends.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I saw the points that I'm pretty good for SMX, straight into the SMX finals.
Yeah.
So we carried the rest of the summer. Obviously I had to switch the bike because we got too many hours. So luckily Michael Reno Power Sports, they helped me for the rest of the season.
Nice.
For those last 3 rounds.
Yep.
Plus the SMX. And so it was long but nice summer, and SMX paid pretty well. So it was like nice to get something back, from the organizers, and then you have the contingency bonus in America. So it's like a little bit everywhere, but it adds up, and
yes.
End of the day, like, okay, and it makes like the worth all the hard work, and obviously I couldn't do without all my local sponsors back home.
Yeah,
they helped me a lot last year to just survive and make the thing happen. So, and pretty much all the prize money in the summer went for the food or for the clutches or whatever. So, but anyway, that was like my investment year. And here we are. I have a deal for a full season in America this year. So living the dream at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And on top of that, I know it's Southwick. I know you brought a little more confidence into Southwick, but you had a great result this weekend with an 11th overall with a 913, like we talked about. I don't know. I wouldn't say you struggled at the beginning of the year, Harry, but it definitely didn't seem like you were.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. We can all agree. So what were some of the things that you needed to work on with the bike and things, personally as a rider that you had to kind of figure out to get here? And was this a result of, was Southwick a result of the testing and the work that's gone in, or was it a little bit of like, hey, I got confidence at sand because I've obviously been doing it for so long and the bike's starting to feel a little bit better, but more confidence, or are we in a better place right now than we were at the beginning of the year?
I would say everything, a little bit of everything. Obviously, I've been working in Europe, and the way we work is a little bit different than American way.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to adapt with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly, I was struggling a little bit with the bike. Not a little bit, but like pretty much that was the issue in the beginning.
What were you struggling with the bike? Was it like the suspension, triple clamps, parts? What are we talking about?
Yeah, it was like we started like different parts, and because it's new for the team to come to the Pro Motocross, it was new for me to join the American team. I knew the guys, but to work together, we have to learn each other. Totally. Not in a bad way, but just like you need to gel together, you need to understand each way. And it just was figuring out like week by week and just what I like and what's good for me. It was like first we tried different triple clamps, we tried different handlebars, because every brand is different.
Yep.
Then I was getting a little bit more speed, so I was struggling with suspension. We did some testing, so we changed this and that. So like we improved a lot week by week, and now it was like leading up to Pala. So I was struggling a lot in the practice days, and then with suspension especially. So I was like, okay, why we don't just put last year's setting in the suspension? So I know where I was last year, so I can start somewhere.
Yeah.
But I only had one day before Pala, and that was like I was struggling also Pala because tracks are pretty different what I'm training at Club MX, and so it was like, and then obviously I had no confidence, and then I came from injury, and from myself, it's also like in Europe I have preseason races, I do 2-3 races which are not important, and then you test at the races, and then you kind of figure out and get the speed up.
Yeah.
But like now I had to go straight into the big race, Pro Motocross first round, Pala.
Yeah.
And the track was pretty tough, so I was struggling a little bit in the practice days.
Yeah.
And so then to go to the race, I was like, obviously there was no confidence. I had no pre-season races, so I couldn't do any supers races, and it was like just a little bit of everything. And so we worked Pala, we changed a little bit for Hangtown, and then we knew after Hangtown, okay, we have to do something more, and so we changed again for Thunder Valley, and we knew already during those first two rounds, we knew like what we had to change.
Yeah.
We changed them, and Thunder Valley was like a big step forward, and obviously I scored 12th overall there.
Yeah.
I felt myself. High Point, then we just had so bad starts, but I felt I was riding pretty good. I came outside, like I was 31 and 33 in the starts. I came to points 16, 18, so I was pretty okay riding,
Yeah.
But just to make those extra like good results, like around top 10 results, I need those starts. And so last weekend,
yes and no. This weekend, I don't want to cut you off, but this weekend you were in 22nd at like the 25-minute mark in the second moto, and you came all the way back to 13th. So you were on the gas.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we had off weekend. I had really good practice days, and I was pushing a lot after High Point because I knew that's the only week I can train hard for the rest of the season, which really counts, So I was going hard, and we actually didn't change nothing. My mechanic changed the shock because it's pretty big. Team for me, like obviously I have Team America, they are helping me, but I have my guy in Estonia, One Click, who does the settings, and then my mechanic over here, he puts the setting in. He also does suspension, so he helps to look at me at the practice days, So we've been working a lot, and my mechanic he does like long days, like
that's awesome.
He has to finish 11 o'clock in the work in the garage because they put the alarm on the carriage, so like he finishes 11 or like 10:59, and then he's back there like 5 or 6 a.m. Like just to fix bikes, fix suspension, and we have like new shock ready, but I didn't want to test now on the break because I just wanted to have good training days. So we have a couple more ideas to even get more comfortable, because actually myself, I was struggling on the easy spots at Southwick, where I should gain like easy speed, first race when Justin Cooper passed me, like he was like passing me so easy spot in front of pit lane, but I couldn't carry the speed or the high speed in the small bumps because I don't feel 100% comfortable with the suspension yet. Believe it or not,
you
like
couldn't get the,
we are
you couldn't get the drive.
Season, but so it's like we are still working. But it's like I have a great team of guys around me. So like I said, I'm living a dream. I'm trying to enjoy, but still we try to even get better. Obviously, we had awesome weekend. We had good start first race. I think I could stay there in top 10, finish 9th. Second race, I had like really bad start. So which is still like we are like kind of stock engine now. We are still waiting for the parts for the engine. So that's the one, like not issue, but like that's where I'm struggling in the starts. I feel like I need something more in the start to start like top 10 every round, every race, So then I could stay more there, make some good results, like great results, because now, second race, I wasn't off the gate so well, but then up the hill in the sand, I lost a couple positions and I was buried like 30th in the start and came to 13. I mean, like the end of the moto was strong. I came from through the back, but still like I need to start in the front to maybe try and beat Mookie or Savachi or these guys, But I need good start, because obviously they are fast riders as well,
Yes,
so I need to have like good start and a little bit luck also. But when you start in the front, you gain more confidence, you gain more speed, and you are used to the ride in the front. But if you have to come always through the back, it's like obviously you get tired also at some point, like it's 35 minutes is a long race, but like you can do only as much as you can do,
Yeah, no, it's true.
I mean, if you're Jett Lawrence, like he's strong and he's fast, but like, but like, I'm looking my guys, like meat pack guys, like, or maybe like 8 to 12 position where I think I should be, but I'm not there only like few times, but I need to be there more consistent. That's my goal at least.
Yeah, well, you're going in the right direction.
All has to come together. It's not just obviously I'm putting all the effort, but we all have to do the work. Like obviously my mechanic does the work. We try to do with the suspension, help my riding, help my confidence, and also like the engine wise. Like all these small things. Like they are important, and that's how you gain the rider's confidence, and in the end of the day, that's where the results coming from.
Absolutely. Well, Harry, we really appreciate you being on the show, dude. We want to say huge congratulations to that 11th place finish, the best one so far this year, and it definitely looks like you're on an upward trend. We want to finish this thing out with just, yeah, you are for sure, and it sounds like all the work that you're putting in, the direction that you want to go, and that's a good place to be, knowing that, okay, we need some motor parts here, this is where I'm lacking. If I can get this, and this, then I know I can be better, That's a really, really good place to be. And that kind of leads me into the last two questions that I wanted to talk to you about. We've been watching Jorge Prado at the Nationals, and there has been a lot of opinions flying left and right, coming from there's not enough motor on the bike from Jorge Prado's mouth to, we watched a little bit on the ACJB show where Ken Roxon kind of said, the 450 has as much horsepower as it needs, and he kind of needs to be better. Where, from the outside looking in, and I wanted to ask you this question regardless, because you're kind of in the same situation. What has been the problem, and what is your, opinion on how Jorge Prado's done this season?
I've been lately with him quite a lot.
Yeah.
The last 2 weeks we've been training together. He's next to me in the at club with the bike and the carriage box.
Yeah.
So I've been talking with him a lot. So I can't I don't want to say too much because
no, you don't need to. You don't need to say too much.
But it's just like what I know and what I've seen him. It's just like he's been always on the Austrian bike, and now he's on a Japanese bike.
Yep.
And like I said before, like it's just like the style, how we work in Europe and how guys work in America, it's just different. Yeah. Not in a bad way, it's just like it's different way, and I think he needs just time, for sure he's not riding 100% his potential,
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, he had so good, strong setup back home in GPs, bike wise and mentally, the team wise, he was so long together with KTM group,
Yeah.
And he got so good package and he figured out the starts and stuff. So he just started always in front. Yeah. He's used to ride in front, and like he has the confidence to go behind the gate, and he knows like 99% he like on a whole shot,
Seriously.
So it's like now, and now he's like the bike that he's not maybe 100% comfortable yet.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard mentally, I think, and then it reflects on the results. Plus, it's 1 day format, it's new series. It's just like I think it needs time and adapting, and obviously maybe work with the bike a little bit more and things like that. But definitely, like I will say, like he's not 100% his potential what he can do. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how it goes end of the season. I think he will gain more and he will be stronger.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully, it will be good for the championship. But I know, like everyone talks about that a lot. So yeah.
I don't know. Like
it is. I think everyone has their issues, like, I mean, not issues, but like, things to solve, and
absolutely.
Like I said, my things I I focus my things, like, and I have my ways to improve, and he has just how we work as a team, like, so that's the thing. And it just, we have to understand it's just different way. And if you want to be here, we just have to adapt and be strong and make the best out of it. And hopefully, him and me, and we can make a step forward and end of the summer.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's what everybody wants as fans too, is just to see Jorge Prado ride to his potential.
Well, that's what I mean. I feel like every rider wants to ride to his potential.
But the fans want to see it too. You know what I mean? Like, everybody wants to push that.
To comment on the bike situation, because we all race professionally here, right? We all have those bikes that we've raced that we absolutely loved.
Yeah, that we wish that we put in our head. We're like, I want this bike to do what that bike did in the past.
I remember that feeling.
Yeah.
And I want this bike to do that. And sometimes when you're switching brands from an Austrian brand to a Japanese brand, like, people don't understand, like, yes, it's a factory bike, but also, like, if you're not getting the feeling that you think you need to go that speed, like, it's hard to push through that and still go as fast as Jett Lawrence.
Yeah.
Okay,
I have my last question for you, Harry. How many hours, because this was one of the biggest things that I had to deal with, is switching from a Honda to a Suzuki. And they're both Japanese bikes.
Mm-hmm.
I had to ride that thing, dude, for 3 months, just as is, to, like, really know what it's going to do underneath me.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to think, he's testing and changing. Harry, how long did you have to ride your Yamaha, that Yamaha that you rode, and now riding the Husqvarna that you're riding? Like, how much time did it take?
Well, he went from Yamaha to KTM to Husky.
But, okay, so how long did it take you to go from the Yamaha to the KTM and just get used to what that thing's going to do? Like, without even testing,
Yeah, it's hard. Like, if you have a team, it's easier, because then you can speak with the team and you can ask stuff, and you have sponsors, so you try different things. But, like, so when I stopped with Yamaha, I went to KTM. Actually, I had a Husqvarna at home, which I raced.
Oh, okay.
Or trained, because I did last year, beginning of the year, I did Arena Cross in England. They gave me a bike, Husqvarna bike, for training. I got one bike from Finland. So I had a bike just to ride before the Pro Motocross started, or Brazilian Championship started. So I started with Husqvarna, but I had my KTM parts in the Husqvarna, like the linkage and stuff. So I used those parts. So it was, because I had to use the same stuff what I had in Brazil and in America. So that's why I modified the Husqvarna to KTM. But it was hard, because obviously I was on my own. I had no team. So it was like just my personal sponsors and friends, contacts, what I had, I used them and tried to make it happen, and just tried to make myself as comfortable as I could.
Yep.
But it is hard. It takes sometimes like a couple of weeks, and you are really good. Like, especially if you have a team or factory team, maybe you feel straight away good and the bike suits you. But sometimes it can take 1 year, like, and you just don't feel good, like you need to adapt the bike and maybe you don't figure out whole year, like, I mean, like you said, when you are on the pro level, the last seconds to take off, or half seconds to take off from the lap, you need the confidence to hit some places, like, really, really hard.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the confidence in the bike, with being it with the tires or engine or the suspension or triple clamps, whatever, then you don't do it, like. And when you are a bit older, then you are more wiser also, that you don't have to take the risks,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's like, it depends the situation. But some bikes suits some guys well and takes less time, and some bikes takes forever. Maybe some bikes never get right for that rider.
Yep. Well, Harry, we really appreciate it, bro. Congratulations on your ride at Southwick. We look forward to seeing you in the future and getting better. Any sponsors you want to thank?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think the biggest one is the team, that they took me, the Michael's
Reno
Power Sports and
yep.
Spencer. Yes, they are the big guys, like that. They took me. So yeah, obviously without them, I wouldn't be here. And I think our list is pretty long. But for sure, the main sponsors that I can remember now is the niche bicycles. They are the big guys, that they are helping. Obviously 7. Then we have 7MX, obviously,
yep.
And we have Aero. We have 100%. They are helping us. Yeah, and all the sponsors that are putting the effort, and it's just it's like I said, it's a team thing, and without these guys, I won't be here. I wouldn't be enjoying this, and yeah, like I said, it's a small team what we are having here back training days. We are putting the effort in a week, and yeah, all the team crew and the team sponsors team are coming to races, so we can enjoy the work we put in a week with my mechanic Marek and my wife Lisette, and we do the grind and we meet at the races, and big thanks to the team and all the truck drivers and the mechanics and team managers. So yeah, let's keep going and enjoy the rest of the summer.
Heck yeah. Thanks, Harry. We appreciate you being on the show, and good luck at next weekend at RedBud.
No, thank you.
Heck yeah. Have a good one. Sweet. Dude, do you think Harry is grateful to be here and racing or nah?
Living the American dream, my dog.
Bro, like, definitely you can tell by the way he talks how much effort he put in to race overseas. Yes. It was like literally or even the everything
risk, or even like the risk he took to do the 3 rounds here, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And then last year racing the 9 rounds he did.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand, like he was betting on himself to try to get a physical ride, to make more money, to make this a career, and he's starting to figure it out.
Yeah.
What's awesome to see that it's coming to fruition for him.
Yeah, it really is. He's he's gotten a lot better just from the beginning of the year.
Mm-hmm. And too, it seems like him and the team and the bike are kind of growing together.
Yes. And too, the other thing that I took away from it, welcome to the show, Michael Antonovich. But
good to hear you, boys.
Harry made a really good point that, we also have to think that Jorge Prado literally probably had the best setup out of anybody and ever that anybody could have in MXGP.
That's why I'm saying,
he's coming from the best pinnacle setup that you could get on a dirt bike overseas.
Well, and I think, not to make excuses for him, but like as riders or as an athlete, you have a setup that you literally feel like you can do anything in. And it gives you a sense of confidence of like, yeah, I can beat everybody because I'm winning. I've won 4 championships with this setup. Yeah, I can go in America and change my team and change my setup and still win. Why couldn't I?
Yeah.
That's
exactly what he thought.
And then now he's here where he got hurt, unfortunately.
Yep.
Started the season behind the 8 ball. And now he's, whatever feeling he's getting from the bike, he's not liking it. Obviously, like, yes, he was forcing the issue at the sand track. At Southwick. But like, he had a couple crashes.
Yeah.
I would like to see when the last time Jorge Prado fell down during the week or during a race.
2 motos in a row.
2 motos in a row. Like, bro, I know, yes, those weren't big deals, but as a rider
he
to
did
gain
fall the second moto, right?
Yes. He washed out. But like for a rider to gain confidence, like we don't like touching the ground if it's gnarly or even a front end push.
Yeah, maybe that was like, hey, What the fuck? See, I can
No,
do
what
it,
that
but
tells me is that he's forcing the issue with his machine.
Yep.
He's trying to make it go. What would it be? Go faster than what
he's going
he
110%.
Yes. He knows that bike is not where it needs to be, but he knows how fast he needs to go to put in a good result.
Yep. All right, boys. Well, first thing I want to talk about, I don't even know if there's shit to talk about, to be honest, but Jett and Deegan dominate Southwick. Mike, you were there this weekend, dude. What's the vibes on that? Like, what are the vibes right now? Is it just everybody's demoralized or what?
You could definitely feel that it wasn't like electric feeling like it had been. And I'll even say that the crowd size compared to Southwick's in years past seemed down. Usually, I mean, it's a great crowd. Everybody, the Northeast group that's up there,
they show
some
out.
of the best in the country.
Yeah.
Oh, and they know their shit.
Yep.
But it didn't seem as packed in some spots. And then with the 450s being first, especially after that second moto, it seemed like the place did kind of empty out a little bit, but I mean, still great racing and all that to see. But yeah, it comes down to starts, man. Like, you got to get a start. That place more than anywhere. How the guys said the track lined up yesterday, where it did feel one line to make passes.
Yeah.
Although they added some sand in and did some little revisions and stuff like that, you could tell. You guys just talked about Jorge crashing and other guys having those incidents. It's still that hard base underneath. You're still going to find where the fine line is to push the front end and then wind up on your face, even if you're just doing a slow, like a roll around a corner, So, you had to get a start yesterday, and a lot of guys didn't get starts, and the two guys that know how to really run away from it right now got starts and then just did the work.
So
and the thing being trackside that was so important, last thing I'll say, Ty, sorry, is there was no, like, I know there is so much like, oh my God, was that all out? Was that this? Was that that? Dude, it didn't sound like all out. I'm standing right there. Like, they didn't override the bikes, nothing. That was just like
nobody's bike overheated out front.
Nothing. And not a lot of bikes overheated anyway, I'll say that. Like, that was for the weather yesterday, everything did survive really well. But you know how Hayden's riding style is. Like, it's on it. And he was good yesterday. He definitely rode fast and flowy and rode sand really, really well. But there was really no wasted energy on his part, and there's never any wasted energy on Jett's part. They just did what they had to do and floated across it.
Bro, I think 38 people on the gate need to understand that anybody with the last name Lawrence can't be in the top 10 of start.
Yeah, but dude, that's the thing though.
It's not, oh, if we get a good start. No, we just can't let the Lawrences get a good start to give everybody else a chance. Anybody. Plessinger needs to get a whole shot. Tomac needs to get a whole shot. Jorge Prado needs to get a whole shot. Justin Cooper needs to be
anybody. Anybody. Make one of the Lawrences put some work in on the weekend, bro. We're not paying. Can we pay these guys some millions of dollars to put in some work? Make some passes. But that's the thing, though. Lars and those guys, and they were talking about Johnny O on the broadcast, and they were like, yeah, dude, I've never seen anybody work this hard to get these boys right. Johnny O said that about the Honda team.
Well, and bro, it's really easy to put in the hard work when you fucking get that result.
Yeah, it is. It is, dude.
You know what I'm saying?
When you're doing good, it's weird how everybody on the team has more pep in their step.
But it's also humbling to think about, like, they've been on top, stayed on top, been knocked down, and now they're back on top. Whatever the formula is, they've got it down.
Well, the formula is Jett. That's the number one formula. Because you can take
Hunter
Jett,
just went 2-2-2.
Yes, but that's because Jett's his brother,
and he's got the bar to be set on during the week.
He knows He knows if he can hang on to that, and he's got that. But imagine you on a team, right? And you go, and the guy's winning, and you're Jett's homie, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go ride on a factory Honda. I'm gonna be teammates with Jett, and you watch him win on the weekend. the amount of doubt taken away in your mind about your bike setup and your program is gone.
Yeah, but also that's not true. Because we've seen teammates be separated a lot.
Very true.
And you have to have a certain amount of talent and a certain amount of skill to just be everybody else but your brother as well. You can't take anything away from Hunter.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Hunter's been ripping.
He's been on the planet longer than Jett, and Jett's smoking his ass.
Whatever.
Okay. Let's move on. Tomac.
Hey, one thing I'll say on the point of those two boys.
Yep.
Because you do mention like just the differences that they have. Two completely different programs that they have to have. Because, you know, like we know Hunter's dietary changes that he had to go through here, and then like just how they have Jett worked out. So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach the same way some people think it is. There is little intricacies that have to be fine-tuned for them to know like this to this. And the level of detail that goes into everything, like, hey, on every pro rider, on every factory team, whatever, you know, all of that, this is universal across the board. But for Johnny to say that Honda is putting in all that work, Johnny is equally putting in the work. Johnny is just as meticulous to the minute of when certain things happen, to the same way that the Honda guys are like, there's how many milliliters of fuel in that thing? It's going to ride like this. Like, that is a scientific formula. There is no guesswork to anything that's going on there. They have it all figured out, and for both guys in two quite different ways. Some things very similar, but other things you know have to be different.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Agreed. Man, big blow to Tomac, boys. I know.
What do you mean?
Know you don't think so, but dude, that was like a dagger this weekend to Tomac.
Bro, in my eyes, Tomac did it to himself.
Yes, he did, but that doesn't mean he lost even more confidence. I mean, dude, this is going to be a runaway here in a couple rounds if Tomac don't win.
Bro, it is.
So you're saying it's going to be a runaway?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad we can agree on that.
We're halfway through. We're technically, we're one moto away from halfway through, but
yeah.
But I mean, bro, like the formula to beat Jett is you got to start in front of Jett.
Which Tomac has never been the best consistent starter. We've seen him get good starts.
Yes.
And he's done it like on occasion, but he can't do it every single round. And that's the problem. Jett's doing it every time almost.
And this is I don't know, calling Tomac out. You can't start like 9th or 10th.
No.
You got to at least start 2nd, 3rd, 4th.
Yeah, because Jett's bad starts like 6th.
And then he's first by the 2nd, 3rd turn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad that you boys mentioned that exactly, because this is what I've been thinking about pretty much since yesterday, waiting to see how that battle was going to materialize. Just, you know, all of the hype and anticipation of wondering how those two are going to take it once we got to Southwick, and then to kind of leave the track yesterday, never even getting a glimpse of any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I really think you need to see both guys. If you really want to see the Eli Jett heads up battle, we all want to see. It's not going to be them starting 1-2. It's not. It's going to be them starting 8-9, 9-10, and then charging through the pack. That's the only way we're really going to. I think that's the best way. Not the only way. The best way we're going to see how good they each really are and where their strengths really are.
You might be right.
How fast you get through traffic.
Yeah, it might be the only.
How fast you get through traffic. I think it's because there's too many variables of like, what are the odds they're both going to start 1-2 and how many times? You know,
yeah,
and
but
then there's
Jett
quite a few odds that they could start 5-6.
Jett's so good out front that it would literally, the only way we're going to get that battle is if Jett is in 2nd and Tomac gets the whole shot.
Yeah. But I was even thinking though, but Tomac is a smart enough rider, and he's been around so long that he needs a moto or two where he's just behind Jett.
Yeah.
And getting comfortable behind Jett. I really think that before he beats Jett and like passes him, Tomac needs a moto or two that he's behind him.
Yeah.
To really learn.
Yeah.
Because I think what Tomac's going to do is he's going to see Jett try really hard and kind of override and stuff it into the corners like Tomac does and tries to go beast mode, and Jett's just going to lay off the brake and be super smooth and, be a little bit faster, a 10th here on every single corner and just kind of creep away from Tomac, unless Tomac can be able to put the pressure on the phenomenal kid and crack him a little bit. But I haven't seen it done by anybody.
Nope. Okay. Cool news. We're going to move on even a little bit more. Cool news. Ducati, we are going to see Antonio Cairoli racing at RedBud and Millville. So we're going to do 2 rounds. We're going to see the debut.
Before we talk about that.
Yep. Okay.
Let's all give a percentage on what do we think Chase, like, what is the percentage of Chase actually lining up at RedBud?
50-50. Maybe lower. Anton, what's your percentage?
Yeah, dude, I didn't hear anything about it this weekend. I wasn't asking much, but I didn't hear a lot of like, ooh, can't wait for next week. But I wasn't prodding, but there really was no like low-key hype of like, just wait till next week when Chase gets back into the mix. I didn't hear any of that this weekend.
All I saw was like a week ago from Chase was a picture of his bike and said, good week.
Yeah, and we've heard from the Twitter rants that he said, I'm not coming back at Southwick. I'm coming back at RedBud, supposedly.
I would think he comes. I mean, that's his home track. And he really.
Oh, that's true.
I don't like. You're not.
So is this like a farewell tour, or
yeah, it's a KTM farewell tour, dog.
Like, I mean,
that's not even funny, bro.
Like by now, like everybody knows he's going to Cali, right?
I mean, pretty much.
Allegedly, I guess.
Yeah. Allegedly. I mean, I don't know. At this point, what's the point at coming back?
Yeah, he's going to show up at Red Bull on the Cali, dude.
No.
I know, but
stop it. Okay, what's your percentage of him coming back at RedBud?
Probably 80% he's going to show up, 20% he doesn't.
All right. Mike, you never gave me a percentage. What's the percent?
90-10.
Show up, 90%?
Like, yeah, 90% he shows up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I like it. So that means we probably will see, we'll probably see him. Hopefully we see him. I don't think we'll see him. I mean, you never know. Chase is a bad mofo.
I think honestly, seeing Tomac struggle against the Lawrence brothers gives Chase confidence.
Really?
Yes.
That's a head scratcher. I don't know. Okay. Ducati. Let's go back to that because we're still and if or buts. Okay, Ducati, Antonio Cairoli. We get to see a brand new bike displayed, one that's going to be added to the Pro Motocross and Supercross roster very soon. How do we think it's going to do? How do you think Antonio Cairoli's going to do? What are our expectations for that whole situation?
I mean, I think it's a good debut, but I don't know. It's 4th of July weekend, debuting an Italian motorcycle. Antonio Cairoli has been not raced for what, a couple years now?
Yeah.
So are we getting him top 20?
Oh yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Antonio Cairoli top 20. Homeboy, yeah, he's been like
15 to 20
enough. Yeah, I think like 12, 15.
Okay. I am not kidding you guys. I think he'll be lucky to get a point. I think he'll be lucky to get right inside the top 20, in my opinion.
There's a lot of local boys at RedBud that rip.
That's what I'm saying, dude. That's what I'm saying. You're talking he's got to beat Mitchell Harrison is top 20.
Yeah, because 12 to 15 last weekend was Joey Savacci,
Derek Kelly, which I've
Cody
seen Derek
Schock.
Kelly get a top 10 before.
Yeah. Valentina Galoid.
Oh my God. How many times are you going to hack his name, bro?
Well, I mean, I gave it a shot.
Benoit Paterell. Okay. Joey Savacci, Harry Kulas, Malcolm Stewart. I mean, dude, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be real tough.
Grant Harlan, dude, is 18th.
But
And I've seen him be top 10.
I think what
let Mike talk.
I'm going to talk for Mike right now, like Adam does. I think he's going to get a start though.
I can see it.
I can see.
I had that vision in my head.
I can see him just be like, you know what? I'm gonna show all these young bucks how I could still start. Jorge Prado, come over to me, bro. I'll teach you how to start.
Hey, that is the best thing he could do for Ducati.
Just get a whole shot and leave the first lap.
No, not even the first lap. 3 corners, bro. Alessi yourself. Don't do that. But like 3 corners. If he can get out front for 3 corners on the Ducati, everybody's buying one. If he don't,
he'd be like, everybody's gonna be like, oh my God, Ducati's so fast. It is whole shot in Honda HRC.
That's what I'm saying. The hype will be insane if Antonio Cairoli.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the real reasoning why you think they're coming over to do this? Do you think it's more of a Antonio Cairoli wants to ride some U.S. rounds? Or do you think it's like we need to get some kind of testing under our belt to see if this bike's any good at, these pro motocross real race scenario events?
Well, they've already been racing over an MXGP for 2 years.
I know that, but clearly this is a different animal.
I think it's more of a stint to get other riders interested in the program.
Ooh. Damn, Uncle Ty.
I mean, that's how I would promote it. Just to get like the Justin Barcia, the Malcolm Stewarts, Joey Savacci, those guys that are on contract years to be like, oh man, this ain't going to be a full rebuild. Like Antonio Cairoli's doing good on it.
Yes, but I think, and Michael, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Lewis said that they're going for a top tier guy. That's the word on the street.
What's top tier?
A championship contender, which I don't know who they're going to get.
Justin Cooper?
No,
Jacob's back. He's back.
Jay Cooper with Yamaha.
I mean, that would be a big last minute get. As far as like who to get, I know that there's been all of that. There's been a lot of back and forth at the races as to what level this team is going to be, because even in some of the initial press releases that came out, it was not a, hey, we are formally da-da-da-da. Yeah, they're working together, but there had never been, the verbiage had always said, we are exploring, we are this. It was like a testing the waters kind of thing. There wasn't a full-blown commitment yet by all groups to figure out where this thing was going to go. And now they're getting closer to that coming to be.
Yeah.
So it's been a moving target, I think, over the last 8 months, and then finally getting more bikes in production, because the production bike is much different than the bike that has been raced at the GPs and those special races over in Europe in the last couple months. They just have to get some stuff like that. That track that Antonio rode up in the Northeast this weekend, I mean, he was testing with Factory Connection, who's going to be the suspension partner for the group over here in the United States. I mean, aside from that place looking like a video game, how else do you get good data from Tony? You know, like you have to have him ride it. And then back to what you guys were saying as far as why are they going to do this race? I think it's a combination of a lot of different stuff. Obviously, you need to maximize on the hype of this bike coming to be, because Triumph, had this motorcycle that they talked about forever that nobody saw. Yep. So take a little bit more of a direct approach and try to get it out there and get it racing. Especially Ducati is crushing in motorcycle racing right now. There is no company that can top them in certain forms of road racing.
Yeah.
So ride that momentum. The other thing is it's a unique bike. This is as close to exploiting the works bike rule that is not in the AMA rulebook anymore as they can get. Like, yeah, there are going to be production bikes in the US, but like, let Tony come over here and get some motos and get some testing done and get a baseline of status. So when they do really go racing next year on the real tracks, they know what they're going to do. Yeah. The third thing I'll say is they've been working on this project for a long, long time. The people that are involved, the people that would be in team shirts come the next 2 weekends, they've done a lot of work. A lot of people have ridden this bike at different places, all this stuff. I would think after doing months of that kind of work, just to have the option to go race and just really see where you're at would have to be just such a nice little incentive to be like, well, how close to the mark are we? And wouldn't it just be fun to burn gas, not just at the test track, but in a real race trip?
Yeah.
Last thing. You guys mentioned all those dudes that finished, 20th to 15th or 20th to 10th in the last couple weeks. And this is not to discredit any of them, but Tony is a multi-time world champion because he can string together a 35-minute moto. And unfortunately, not a lot of those guys can. There will be something that those guys have happen at some point in the race where the lap time spikes by 5 to 12 seconds.
Yep.
Tony doesn't have that.
No,
Tony is going to just knock those laps out. You just get into it, and he has the baseline fitness. Like, he has not given up on what he's doing. He's riding a lot. It's just like any old man you see at the mountain bike races. Like, he's got that just built-in muscle that's not going to go away. Like, that's why I think he's 15th, is he knows how to do it.
Mike, but so he raced outdoors 3 or 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
I think his best finish was an 8th.
Where? Here?
Yeah. He did a whole season, remember? Or until he
did not do a whole season. I don't remember that. Mike, do you remember that?
but Ty. No, he did. He did it. I mean, he did
with Ryan Dungey. Remember when Ryan Dungey came back?
With Dungey, because this is part of the AP thing of like, look at all the teammates that I've had deal.
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm not saying like Tony's going to be battling for like top fives, and it's like, oh my God, did you see him just D it up on Jett? Like, we're not going to see that.
No,
but
I'm not.
Tony's consistency, like, you don't become a multi-time world champion without knowing how to do it. Like, the gate is gonna drop. He's just gonna be like 35 minutes. Let's go. Like, let's just go do it.
Yes.
All right.
And other guys don't have that. I hate to say it, but that's what's been missing from their careers. Either at 250 points or 450 points or at whatever. Until you can string together the entire race consistently, you don't have it,
Yeah.
And
I could see him around 15th. Yes, I could see that happening.
Okay. How about this?
What, Adam?
$100. $100.
What do you want to bet?
That he's 18th overall or lower. You make 100.
Lower, like down to 20, or he's lower to 14.
If he's
18 to 40 is my $100. I get $100 from you. If he's 17 and up,
no, 18 and up.
No.
Yes.
17
you said
and
18 and down, so that's 19 to 40.
So what? If he gets 18th, then we're zeroed?
Yes.
So nobody wins if he's 18th.
Yeah, but if he's 17 to whatever, I get 200.
No, 100.
No, 200.
No, bullshit. If he's 19 and down, you owe me $100.
Okay.
If he's 18th, nobody makes money. If he's 17 and up, I'll give you $100.
150.
Nope, $100. You ain't making no 150.
Come on, wussy. You made the bet.
Dude, I'm making a bet.
You're
so
confident.
It's done. Do you agree on it or not? Take the bet or leave it. Take the bet or leave it.
I'll take the $100.
All right, let's go. If Antonio Cairoli next weekend gets 17 and up, I'll give you $100. This is overall, not motos, overall.
I understand the bet.
All right, cool. We got it on the show, Mike. You heard it first. All right.
I did.
Okay.
My SMX credential keeps me from having any kind of sports betting talk.
Hey, this is not sports betting.
This is a brotherly bet.
I'm just fucking with you. Yeah.
This is very true, though. We had to, no comment. Okay. The Jett and Deegan beef. How much, and the Ken Roczen Deegan beef, baby. How much do we love it already?
I love it.
Okay, so where did he comment? Because the comment was literally from...
No idea.
I don't know where he commented, but I seen it on an Instagram that he commented, already in these guys' head, too easy.
You saw it on Dirt Bike Lover.
Yes. So Jett, after the moto, puts up his watch and goes like that, supposedly mocking Deegan.
I don't think it was a mocking Deegan. I think it was just he had a watch sponsor and he make it hell awkward.
Okay. Either way, that's supposedly what it is. Mm-hmm. And then Ken Roczen goes on ACJB podcast and says the shenanigans aren't going to work. And then he comments on that podcast post and says, "Number 2 son."
Well, I think Deegan's got whatever he wants to do, he can do. I don't see anybody else on SportsCenter. Do you?
Nope.
In the last 5 years of Jett, Ken Roczen, whoever, But I don't see anybody on SportsCenter.
I didn't see Deegan at the Met Gala.
Yeah, but we need these kids to be characters.
Did you see his comment about the Met Gala? You didn't see Kellen's Newsbreak video with him on SML?
I did not.
He's like, yeah, who watches a fashion show? SportsCenter is bigger than that, or something to that effect. Like, apologies that I took it out of context, but that is not far off of verbatim. No, link it. I promise. Wait, on the Kenny thing, number 2's son, like Cooper's son? Is that what he called Kenny?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know, but he wrote on the AC JV show. So AC and JV did a thing with Ken Roxon.
Did an
interview. And they posted a clip on their Instagram where Ken Roxon was like, Adam Cincerello asked the question, do you think that kind of the talking shit is going to work in the 450 class? And Kenny's like, no, we're not going to put up with that shit. Everybody's fast in the 450. He's going to find out he's a small fish in a big pond once he gets in the 450 class. Talking shit doesn't bother us. We're grown men type of deal.
Yes, and I agree.
The first comment was number 2 son by Haiden Deegan. Like, if you want to start messing with these guys, is that not the way to do it?
I mean, only if you can back it up. Because
you think he's going to back it up?
I think so. I don't think this is going to be a Lessie situation.
I don't. I think that, and don't get me wrong, Ken Roxon is a bad mofo, and Ken Roxon is a man, so he's going to do his shit.
Yes, and he's going to compete in the Supercross or wherever he lines up.
But the boys that have been around a long time always are going to have to welcome the new young buck that they ain't going to like.
Mm-hmm.
And Haiden Deegan seems like he's the real deal. But we're going to have to wait and find out. But either way, talking shit works on anybody.
Can we like just assume that he's going to go 450 next year in outdoor?
I mean, dude, he's going to defend his 250 title once again, and he's going to go 450 outdoor.
Right? That's like,
yes, that's the
like
plan.
The program.
Yes. That is what has been talked about. Right, Anton? I mean, that's the word on the block.
I mean, that's almost a certainty at this point. It gets teed up to him almost every single weekend at one point or another through the press conferences or through like Friday media day interviews if he's on the roster that weekend. And he always, I just got to get through this and we'll see. But he has a couple times been like, we're going to have to, we got to move up. Like he knows it's coming, you know. So I would think it is next summer. Everything points to that. How his deal is structured for then is going to be interesting too, because like all of his stuff will go into free agency as far as gear and all of that. We know the bidding war for that has been going on for at least a year already. Like this is not like So he says what he's in. Like, dude, everybody that's behind the scenes trying to get a piece of that has been doing it for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, back to the, Deegan talking smack on Jett and whoever in the 450 class, and if that's going to work. I disagree a little bit with Kenny in the sense of, one of the biggest things when I seen a new kid in the class, even the 450 class, when they would jump up in the 20th spot that I was around, what you look for, is respect. And Deegan does not have that. And Ken Roxon and those guys and Jett, they're all going to want respect. And whether the talking smack works on them or not, when he disrespects those guys, they're going to be pissed. So they'll have to figure out if they just want to let him run his mouth or they're going to tee him up. Because one way or another, Deegan is not shutting up. I don't think it's in his blood. Do you?
No, but it's tough to be because, bro, like we've all been in the class. When you piss somebody off, there's a lot of chances to get teed up in practice, in qualifying.
Dude, Justin Barsha and Vince Freeze, bro.
Yeah.
They just don't mess with them anymore.
I mean, But when is it gonna get too much?
Never.
Because there's already kind of like a black and white with Deegan. There's not a gray area. You either love him or you hate him.
Well, let's put it this way. The formula of being on Sports Center, he's pretty much it is black and white. There's no gray with Haiden Deegan. But right now he's the number one guy in motocross and supercross.
You think so?
Yeah. I think if you X-nayed every single person and you said Haiden Deegan is showing up to Anaheim, and then you had another venue that said Jett Lawrence is showing up at Dallas, where are you going to have more people at? Anaheim with Haiden Deegan or Dallas with Jett Lawrence?
I don't know.
What would you guess? Who's pulling more fans?
You just put literally like Anaheim is like the Mecca. So
okay, well, whatever. Florida.
I don't know. Probably Deegan.
I'm just saying. I think Deegan's pulling in more fans than Jett Lawrence is right now. That's just in my opinion. I could be totally wrong. Mike, what's your take on that?
I wouldn't say that you're wrong. I mean, you're not wrong. He definitely has the biggest autograph line and all of that. But I mean, Jett's like, don't get it twisted that Jett's tough year, quote unquote, that everybody keeps talking about has knocked his popularity at all. His autograph line is just as big. And then this week it was funny because I walked 450 Moto 1. I shot the whole thing from the fence line, so the outside of the fence out with the fans.
Yep.
To see the split of merch, it's Haiden merch, it's Jett merch, it's Eli merch, it's AP merch, and then everybody else gets a little piece of the pie there. But like it is those 4 or 5. That's it. And it's
facts.
Jett merch and it's Haiden merch. And then if you're a dude of a certain age, it's Eli merch.
Yeah,
and that's
true.
Just anybody, chick,
that's
little
true.
kid, 7-year-old, anybody. Like everybody has their demo, but like the Jett thing is Jett's pretty universal from what I've noticed. Like almost everybody's wearing Jett stuff. Every demo doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
True.
Same thing for Haiden. But then you can tell that he's definitely got pockets that have like a bigger fan base. Little kids, like 7 to 10, love it.
Definitely.
And then like teenage boys and teenage girls love it. Like you're talking like 17 to like 20.
Yep.
In those two groups. But then like Eli's popularity is massive in young kids because he is this like god to them because they've been hearing about how gnarly he is for so long. And then the family men style thing that have watched Eli come from like, I remember when he did such and such 10 years ago, whatever.
Yeah.
And then AP, just everybody loves AP.
Yeah.
But like of those 4, that is the split. And yeah, of course it's Jett versus Haiden as far as like what's the popularity split.
And I don't think like I should probably clarify a little bit. I don't think that Jett is like way behind Haiden. It's not like
you made it seem like that.
I know that I'm thinking about what I said. It's not like Jett is like,
oh, now we're backtracking.
Yes, a little bit, because it's not like Jett is going to be like monumentally lower than Haiden. But if you thought of the biggest name, the biggest draw in the sport right now, who is your guys' pick?
Jeremy McGrath.
Oh my God. Okay.
No, I honestly, like, not to dodge the question. This is my honest to God answer. I think on the day it really depends because there are some weekends where it seems like you're splitting hairs on who's more popular, like who had the better prior week, who had what go on, who this, what that.
Yeah. Yep.
It really, like, it is almost a 50-50 like breakneck split. And then when you have a weekend like they had this weekend, like you really do start to see the like a movable object, the inevitable force, like that kind of comparison happen because with Haiden, tying and then breaking Jett's, Moto wins record in the 250 class, that's very important. It's very also important to disclose how many races each rider had in the same time. Like, what did it take for each one?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is offhand, but you have to have, especially now that we have the data and it's common knowledge. It's only been in the last 5 years. It's the same track. It's the same comp. It's the same riders, dude. It's the same fucking everything. It's the same bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you could really have a head-to-head comparison of who is really that good, because they are just a half a generation apart at this point. You know, there's barely an age difference between the two. But like Haiden doing the Sports Center thing is big. I mean, that's undeniable that it's big. And then it does play a lot of stuff. And it was interesting to hear him say how that came to be. He said that Bob Walker, his agent, lined that up. So that answers a lot of questions as far as who's doing what. Is this the series doing this? Is it this doing this? Is it this? I'm sure Bob knew that ESPN having X Games last week, Brian being the X Games legend that he is, ESPN going through a big changeover with how they don't own X Games anymore. They just air the thing. Somebody else owns X Games now. Yeah. How they go through that. How would you not want to tee up Brian, all-time legend, who's never going to turn down a TV opportunity to get him and his kid out there when they're in the neighborhood, because Bristol's not far from Southwick. It's just, you know, a little ways away.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to tell you guys this, and Mike, you can continue, but just so for instance, and this isn't the tell all be all.
Okay. Another Adam Antognat, for instance.
Yep. On TikTok. And I know this isn't the tell all be all, but just for instance, on TikTok, Jetson has 350,000 followers just on TikTok, and Haiden Deegan has 2.1 million.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's
TikTok
not the
is probably a lot of kids from 22 to 12 or 10.
Yes. Okay. But you're looking at that's a 1.7 million account difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Man, Deegan's got a lot of bots, dude.
You know. Okay. Okay. Next interesting thing that we're going to be able to see, the merchandise is one thing, and we're kind of starting to see it play out. And you know, they've had it before, but now that signature gear is going to start becoming more of a factor too. That I want the replica,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you'll see more and more stuff like that. And it won't only be just at the race who is repping what. You'll see, like, at the local track, who is buying what to rep what. Because, like, I'm sure you boys have been to the local tracks around you.
Yeah.
How many of those Flow Orange Monster, or no Monster Claw, but those Flow Orange Alpine Stars helmets have you seen in the last year?
They got Monster Claws on
and
them.
Downs.
Yeah.
Oh, I got Monster Claws?
I got one.
Okay.
I have one. I have a Haiden Deegan replica Alpenstar helmet.
Yeah, dude, every kid's got that helmet. Every kid's got that helmet, it seems right now. That's the HJC helmet of 2007.
Straight up.
Alpine Stars.
All right,
it
boys.
is, for real.
Well, let's move on a little bit. Can we throw a cheers up, Ty? Throw me a cheers up. Clink. Privateer power, baby. Privateer power this weekend. Okay. Why can't we do this more often? Where we let the privateers go first, the B practice, and let them just absolutely rip and get some confidence? Is that not one of the coolest, legendariest things? That's not a word, but is that not one of the coolest things about Southwick, is that you know that the locals are going to go first practice and just absolutely shred on the flattest track on earth?
Mm-hmm. And set some blazing lap times?
Blazing. Dude, I can't remember who it was. Gosh, I need to know the name. What, fourth fastest? Quarter of a second off
Euro
a Jett?
guy.
Oh, yeah, it was the Cornelius Tondel.
Was that who it was?
Yeah, number 417.
Yes, it was. 417. What did he end up getting? 17th. Qualified fourth, ended up 17th.
Yeah, but he went 11:38.
Love it.
Yeah,
Either
he
way,
was ripping.
Either way, it's just cool to see that B practice really get a shot. And why not? Why don't they do this in Supercross? Why don't they do this, in every other sport or in every other event? What's the big deal? Why not give the little guy an advantage?
They do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, 250B. Some of those times, bro, like when we have super soft rutted tracks, C and B gets way better lap times than A, because they're in the middle of the day.
This is true. The 250 class, yes. 450s,
not a shot. Not a shot.
It's the worst in the world. But I just wanted to bring light to that because,
yeah, a lot of people don't understand that.
Yep.
It's not a road course. It's not laps are same 30 minutes later. Shit gets rough. shit gets tore up and it starts slowing down.
And it's seconds too.
Yeah, it's not like a half a second, not a quarter second, like seconds. Nope. That's why it's so amazing when you are watching Race Day Live. Yeah. If someone betters their time in the second session and betters their time towards like
in the B section and the C section.
Yes. Well, no, even like second practice beats the first practice time. That guy is going really fast.
In outdoors.
Yes.
Yes. Not Supercross. In outdoors.
In Supercross, they prep the whole track. And that's why the transitions and the turns and everything gets broken in more.
Yes. All right. Any hot topics in the 250? I mean, not really for me, dude. I about fell asleep. Literally, I think I almost crashed out watching the 250 race. Is that terrible to say?
Not really, but I feel like Joe Shimoda had a good second moto.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do you want to talk about Joe? You can go ahead and talk about Joe because my frustration with Joe is just through the fucking roof. It's so high through the roof, I don't even know what to say. Does Joe want to even stay on a Honda? Answer me that. Let's talk about that. Does Joe want to stay on a Honda? If you're Joe, do you want to stay there or do you want to leave?
I don't know, actually.
If you're Joe, what's your answer?
Yes.
You want to stay another year?
Yeah, why not? Dude, I got to go to the bathroom real bad.
Okay, go. Hey, Mike. Okay, yeah. So if you're Joe Shimoda, right, and you had the season that you had, you broke your finger, you did all this other stuff, right? What do you do? Do you want to stay Honda or do you not?
It's an interesting one because he's in the middle of an already big change, the move to Florida thing, the new trainer, all of that.
Yeah.
And then just kind of starting to get a handle on the bike. The second year of living in Florida and being in that routine would make everything so much easier. And then you would know kind of what to expect. And then to throw in a variable of a new bike, like, are you just going to reset yourself again? Like, that is the argument. I'm not dodging the question. I know that. Dude, as for Joe, dude, it would really be hard. And Joe makes this, like, his personality and who he is individually makes that situation so unique because Honda really wants a Japanese rider. Like, they want a Japanese rider on their motorcycle everywhere they can. You know, they do almost everything they can to make sure there's a Japanese rider in one way or another in some form on their motorcycle in all forms of professional racing.
Okay, I'm ready.
So I can see them really wanting to keep that. I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't leave.
There's no way.
Mitch's thing does look really good, but I wouldn't leave.
No, I don't think you go back to Mitch.
Especially because he's just getting some freedom too. Like, he's just, like, look, the drink weird thing, who knows what that's going to be. I'm starting to see it out there more and more, and that's good. And the people that are behind Drink Weird have been in the energy drink game. Like, they brought Rockstar, all that shit. Like, they know what they're doing. They know how to make Moto happen. However, we've seen so many energy drinks come in and they're gone within 2 years. But Joe got to get completely away from the M-Claw and anything like that. And he gets to have his own personality. And that's what makes Joe cool. So why would you give up the chance to have your own personality to just go be another unfortunate cog in Mitch's machine where you're going to have to wear the same shit as everybody else? Like, why would you give up that individuality?
I don't think you go to Mitch.
And look I'm going to do a little Adaptation nap right now.
Give me some.
And
I love it.
And two, Vial and Haiden Deegan are gone next year.
Not till outdoor.
Bro,
that's true.
Tom Vial's gone. Joe Shimoda can go on the opposite coast of Haiden. Like, bro, Joe is your guy. Joe's the top dog.
Joe's the dub.
He's the top dog next year if he can put it together. And he was already beating Haiden last year before his little finger snafu.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, like, if he can level up even a little bit more, get a little bit more comfortable on the Honda, have a good off season, he should be the top dog next year.
Okay.
And Joe with confidence and winning a few races.
Never know.
I mean, you never know what that could do with his confidence, with him as a person, with him as a rider, for his career.
Yeah.
Like, that could just be a lightning rod for him.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because he's just figuring out.
I like that outlook.
He's just figuring out how to ride dirty or aggressively, I would say.
Yep.
You know, he's figuring out how to race. He's getting some good results. He has plenty of speed when he needs to step it up. Now he just needs to find a little bit more consistency, and I think that'll come with confidence. And what brings confidence? A little race win here or there. Boom.
And
Top
what
dog.
brings a lot of confidence is that Haiden and
Vial are gone.
That brings way more confidence.
And now you feel like the guy to beat.
Exactly. Like really the guy to beat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else in the 250 class that we want to talk about? I mean, Moseman did fantastic this weekend. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Cool to see that Mosey's like the only other guy on Yamaha doing something, which is cool. Parker Ross did well. You know, Garrett Marchbanks still needs a start.
Bummer for Casey Cochran.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to talk about that later. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, right, boys? For 250, Haiden Deegan's the man. I don't know. He's got the starts figured out, 2 whole shots in a row, completely dominates the first moto by 24 seconds, and then Joe gets in second, and then, Haiden Deegan, Jett Lawrence's him for the rest of the moto.
Isn't that crazy how we call it, like, if you keep a rider within 5 or 6 seconds, we just call it Jett Lawrence, you know?
Yeah, because that's what he's famous for. Like James Stewart's famous for the scrub. Jett Lawrence is famous for managing the lead better than any rider has ever done in the sport of supercross and motocross.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Agreed, boys, or not?
100%.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Big L, big dub. My big dub. You know who that's going to? The Achurbis big dub? RJ Hampshire, baby. Dude, the guy is riding good, bro. He had a little tip over
on the start.
And in the race behind Cooper Webb.
Yes.
Okay.
2 separate motos.
Okay. But pushing forward and doing way better than I thought he was going to do in the 450 class.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys agree or disagree?
Yes.
Anton, what do you think?
He's doing great. He's doing great. The battles that he found himself in this weekend, RJ's a very good rider, so I don't say this to discredit him, but when I looked up and was like, oh, wow, RJ, hell yeah. Florida guy, sand guy, he should be able to do that. But where he was, some of the fight that he put up, the battles for position, how late they were happening, how good the battles were, too. Yeah, RJ is really showing his talent on the 450 for sure.
And now I think this is actually going to line up really well because I think, dude, RJ Hampshire does really good at RedBud. Like, really good. So I think
and he just got 4th.
If
in
he
his
can
last
get it,
moto.
So that, this is lining up really good for a podium at RedBud this next weekend. Don't you think?
Who had it in the cards? RJ Hampshire podiums before Jorge Prado.
Not
you,
you,
buddy.
Not you.
Not me. I for sure thought Jorge Prado was podiuming before RJ Hampshire.
Yeah.
I was hoping RJ Hampshire had a consistent top 10 season.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my high level goal for RJ. Yeah. But dude, time and time again, how many times do we see the out of control, wild and out 250 guy that just hangs it the out, settle down and do good on a 450?
Yeah.
We see it time and time again. The kids that ride the 250 like wild are the guys that do better in the 450 because it's a little heavier and they settle down that little bit, but they still have that like extra pizzazz to kind of sprint with the 450 guys.
Yes.
Where it settles them down just enough, but then they have enough effort to put it in on the 450 to be up front.
Yeah.
And on top of that, RJ is usually a pretty damn good starter.
Yes, exactly.
And the other thing I didn't really think about, I know that we're just piling it on. I know you're annoyed, but RJ's too, he's a little more mature than the other kids because he's older. So that might be contributing too.
It could be. Anything else that you got enlightened with?
I want to keep glazing
stacking?
RJ Hampshire because he's doing so good.
Love stacking.
I do. I love stacking, and I love glazing somebody who deserves the glaze.
Well, who else I'm gonna glaze up and give a big dub to is Michael Mosman.
All right. I mean, he deserves it, bro.
He was ripping.
He was, dude.
Southwick, my guy, coming from California, and just hammering.
Bro, the Viagra looked like it got stuck in his neck this whole season, but he's still making it happen.
That's cold.
Bro, my guy has his neck's jacked. He cannot move his neck when he rides. I don't know what to tell you, and the dude can still go out and get a 4.5.
You know what I'm saying? And rip. Best I've seen him all season.
Dude, he's got to have the stiffest style now I've ever seen. It's got to be because his neck, right?
Yes.
That's what it has
100%. To be. But he is putting it together.
And he's getting better.
I'm hoping to see him on the podium in the next few rounds.
Come on. Mike, what's your big dub? Any big dubs?
Big dub would be Hunter. Hunter did very, very, very good this weekend.
Yeah.
I just thought that he rode well. And then I thought the spice that he put on the pass to get Eli was good. You know, there was a couple, just their battles and all that stuff. And I think that even I know there's a little bit of online controversy in the comment section and shit of his pass when they came across that red US flag and everything like that. And you got to be a racer to really know how you guys feel on the judgment call on that. You could look at it as a little dicey, or you could look at it as super opportunistic. But just that racecraft thing of just seizing every opportunity, not backing down from anyone. Dude, Hunter's fast.
But
Hunter is just as quick as anybody is.
Yeah, but this is the problem. This is my take on the situation. Southwick sucks. Okay, you are dying at Southwick. I mean, sucks in the sense of you are.
Patty hates outdoor.
No, that is not true. Sucks in you are sucking wind. You are so tired. If you can take
no wind,
yes. Yeah. If you can take any opportunity that's iffy, I mean, dude, Southwick is dude, if you can cut the track a little bit, what does James Stewart say? Track suggestion marker. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. And it's a little extra reinforced at Southwick because everywhere you go, it's hard to freaking make a new line. There's
not a smooth part on the track.
There's not a smooth part on the track. It is what it is. You make a pass. If the AMA official don't say anything,
it was a good pass.
It was a good pass. I don't know what to do. I mean, he still caught Eli Tomac.
Yeah. And
what are you going to say about that?
You're in such a dog eat dog kind of mentality.
Yeah.
If you see an opportunity, you aren't shutting that off,
Yeah.
You're getting it. Especially it's Tomac. You don't want to get roosted with sand any longer than you need to.
Yeah.
True.
And you know what's the crazy part? And I know this is talked about way too much. I heard it on every single race review show, I think, that I listened to. But I'm going to say it again. Imagine if Jett wasn't here, how much we would be talking about and how excited everybody and just in awe everybody would be if Hunter passed Tomac for the lead.
I know.
But because, and they talked about this on the broadcast, I think they talked about it on post-race show. It's just because Jett's out front, it's just meh.
I got to say, this is the biggest lead I've ever seen Jett have, though.
Yeah.
It was up to 28 seconds in the first moto.
Yeah,
That's complete domination.
Yeah, he did his job. And he's definitely getting better from his knee injury. All right.
And the bike's getting better.
Big L's. Who's our big L for the weekend?
Aaron Plessinger.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because
I just don't think his riding style is good for Southwick.
He's been a podium guy. And, a couple motos, he was fighting back, and I love the fight in him.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But that fire that we seen at, Hangtown and Thunder Valley, I was hoping that he would kind of have that little bit of fire.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he didn't have it this round.
Well, I think he didn't have it. Anton, how hot was it there this weekend?
Bro, he lives in Florida.
Okay, so that's the thing. It was deceivingly hot. Like, and I don't think it didn't, really whip everybody the way that Southwicks when they're 90 plus degrees have.
Yeah.
It was like 82. It was like 70% humidity. I know that because the race monitor, like air temperature gauge at the Yamaha truck was on the table I work on. And the thing that really made it so brutal was that there was really nice cloud cover in the morning. It was nice and cool. It was all overcast. There was a little bit of rain. But then as soon as the sun burned all the clouds off, there was no clouds ever again. So then you were just baking all day. And then, as we kind of alluded to, you're in that pit. There's not a lot of airflow. So all of that stuff. So, like, it wasn't the craziest, hottest day, especially compared to High Point or Hangtown a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it was a good test of everything. Aaron did have some spice early in the moto. And then, there was the battle between, like, him, Jorge, Eli, Hunter, all of that. There was a nice freight train of those guys, and he was part of it. And then as the race continued in Moto 1, he wasn't part of it anymore.
Yeah.
And then that mistake in Moto 2, like, just a typical sand day. Like, again, at Southwick, if you're more than likely going to fall over at one point or another. I can think the only two people that probably didn't fall yesterday were Hunter, Jett, and Haiden. Because Eli fell, AP fell, Prado fell. Like, everybody got a soil sample at least one time or another.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it wasn't a terrible day, but I know what you're saying, Ty. After how good it had been, you were expecting more, and it just wasn't there.
Yeah. But with that being said, I'm expecting a good ride in RedBud.
Yep, I am too. All right, California Coast Plumbing. Need any plumbing supplies? Anaheim, California. Where do you go?
California Coast Plumbing.
Oh, come on. In the trenches. Who are we talking about?
Colt Nichols. My boy went 39-34.
Don't do it to my boy. He don't like the sand, dude. He did good the week before, bro. He was top 10. He was top 10. We're working on consistency right now.
We need a bounce back ride in RedBud.
Not a good look.
He needs an electric starter. That's what he needs. No, I mean, that's what happened. The bike stalled. The bike shut off both crashes, and then took a minute to get going again.
That was
and like when it's rough. And like it sucks. It's rough, and that's part of the the thing when you ride that bike and all that. But just a bummer for Cole because he like you said he had been building some momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're looking for a bounce back ride in RedBud.
We are. Anybody else for in the trenches? Mike, you got somebody? Because I got a couple.
Levi going really good and then losing it and then getting it again because he said he had like rib cramps. Like, I know Levi's had a tough year and all of it. And I like Levi, and I've said it before. I hope he can get the issues figured out because like he's not making them up. If that kid's going to tell you that something's going on, it's real. He's not just going to bullshit everybody or lie or like make up an excuse. But I hope he can get it done because especially in the way people are these days, like you can be as nice as you want to be, but you only have so many chances not to fulfill your potential. And like, he has a 2-year career extension in PC. Like, he'll win another race. All of that stuff will be forgotten. I just hope for Levi's sake, he can get a handle on it and get into the flow that he needs to get in because that kid's fucking really good. Like that, I really think that like we are not even seeing anything close to his potential. The first time that I saw him ride that stopped YZ450 Redas that year in the B class years ago, I was like, whoa, dude. Like, kind of got me shook up more than watching Jett.
Yeah.
Around that same era. And I was just like, fuck, that kid's fast. So I really hope that Levi can find out what he can find out to put it all together.
Yeah, but I mean, we're jumping way ahead here. But for him to get a good 450 ride, he needs to win.
He needs a title. He's got to have a title.
Because that means he's bumping someone serious for
and the 2-year thing,
factory ride.
26. Like, what does the sport look like in 2028? Like, fuck, who the fuck knows what the sport looks like in 2028? Realistically, we can barely even get our brains wrapped around next year.
Yeah,
with the way things are going, so he might have done himself a big favor by signing a 2-year deal hanging around, getting that time to develop, letting a couple guys filter out of the class, having even a couple more brands like Triumph and Ducati, and hell, who knows, maybe even Beta, if you really want to get wacky with it. Yeah. Figure out their stuff and become a landing spot for him.
Mm-hmm.
3 years from now, who knows what the sport looks like? There could be really good B teams too that he could be a 450 rider on.
Yeah.
That's just crazy to think about, even to mention a B team and Levi Kitchen. And it's realistic because of the way he's riding right now and the inconsistencies that we've seen out of Levi Kitchen. Because, like, dude, at the beginning of the Supercross season, we were literally thinking before that Haiden, Deegan, and Levi Kitchen were absolutely going to go head to head and just full knockout. I mean, do you guys remember the whole thing, the whole scenario about Levi Kitchen asking what coast Haiden Deegan was going to be on to make sure that they were together? And then he shows up at the first round and is so sick he can't even ride, moves to East Coast, then shits the bed kind of at the first couple rounds and then gets hurt in Daytona. And now, you know, we're struggling to make it on the podium.
Yeah, now he's playing catch up all year.
And now we're talking about Levi Kitchen as a B450 rider. And good thing he signed a 2-year deal to stay down on 250s.
Yeah, but the problem is, or not the problem, but the expectation of him is to win.
Yes.
You know what
Without
I'm saying?
a doubt.
And he is coming up short.
Yes. And that's the issue.
And we're just all, you know, trying to assume what's wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, right?
Yeah. And
because we don't really know, like, he's kind of had a funky year,
and that
not very consistent with his program, sickness, and that starts way back in January.
Yeah, and that goes back to what Mike said. It's just like, I really hope that whatever he has to get figured out, he gets figured out, because he's pretty much got a fucking coach for everything now. Got a mental coach, nutritional coach, physical coach, right?
Yeah, because, I mean, for him to get back on track for next year, he needs to finish out the outdoor season strong. These next 6 races, he's got to win a couple or be, you know, battling with Haiden.
Yep.
And then come into SMX and be battling for that championship, and then have a good offseason, and then we're on the right track. Because right now, the train is off the tracks for Levi Kitchen.
Bada boom, bada bing.
And it happens quick.
Yep. All right, well, let's finish out the show, boys. The last segment. X Brand is a zebra keep your stripes. If you want the best goggles in the entire freaking planet, X Brand goggles. Go to xbrand.com. Get them today. Does a zebra keep his stripes? I'm going to go and we're going to finish the show out with Eli Tomac. Does he keep these stripes of Mr. Second Place?
He's actually not even second, he's third.
Does he keep these stripes? Or is he already focused on next year because he didn't get a contract with Yamaha and he's a little bit upset about that? That's 100% assumption. Is he having a hard time getting off the gate and that's causing even more frustration? And then when he knows he can't get off the gate, he's kind of like, well, shit, I'm already, you know, too far behind to make it happen. Is he struggling with, I just don't have the speed to hang with Jett Lawrence? Is he struggling with confidence? And 1, how does he flip it around? And 2, what's going to happen if this continues?
I mean, it's already been continuing. You know, we're already halfway through the season.
Pretty much, yeah.
He's taken 1 moto away from Jett.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's got some work to do. And I think Eli is a very simple man. He knows that he needs to get a start. And when he's putting a lot of pressure on himself to get a start, and when he feels himself in 6th or 7th in the first lap, and then doesn't see, like, he literally doesn't see Jett the whole entire race for 2 motos.
Can't do that.
You can't race the best in the world like that.
Nope.
Jett can't even race Eli Tomac like that.
Right now, it looks like he can. That first moto, he would have beat Tomac.
Yes, but I mean, but you know how hard it is to race someone that you don't see?
It's demoralizing.
It's demoralizing. So, I mean, he's got to he already puts a lot of emphasis on the start, but he's just got to execute.
Yeah.
Yep. One moto at a time and get out front. Because right now, he is a notorious bad starter in the comparably to Jett Lawrence.
Yeah.
Stats compared to stats, Jett is blowing Eli Tomac out of the water for as many hole shots as Tomac has. And he's got to flip that around this week.
Yeah.
If he wants a chance.
Hey, Mike, I got a question for you. You get to hang out.
Yeah.
You get to hang out a lot at that tent because you're doing stuff with HJC. That's kind of part of your job.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to see Tomac, what's the demeanor? What's the demeanor of the team with Tomac's mechanic? Do you even get to see that part of it? What's your thoughts?
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I mean, I think I said this on a show with you guys after Thunder Valley.
Yeah.
But it's the same that it's always been, that Eli's motorhome is where he's at. That's where he's at. He doesn't even really keep anything in the Yamaha truck or anything like that. And he even if it's a long cross country trip, they almost always send the motorhome all the time just so he has that level of consistency. So it's not like a change up. So, I mean, he pretty much walks over right when it's time to get on the bike to set sag and do any kind of last minute lever adjustment and then ride out with Jelly on the back of it and then does the autograph signing and then dip. So he's never really hanging around, but the team knows, they're there to get the job done and it's nothing contentious or there's no drama. There's nothing like that. It all seems like it's going really well. I don't see anything where there would be a problem. I think they all know that, Eli is Yamaha's best chance to get a win this summer. Coop did his job. We all know Coop did his job. Justin is doing a very good job of getting the fast lap thing done, and that's building his momentum and his recognition, and he'll get podiums and all that stuff that's there. But, if you want to win a race, you better put your fucking focus into Eli. Everybody at the Yamaha truck knows that. Everybody, the guys that work for Justin Cooper and Cooper Webb are still doing their deal. It's not all the attention's on Eli, but they know that if you want to win, you better give Eli everything. It's not like he's not getting something at all, or there's a disconnect. I asked him in the press conference, and I don't really talk to Eli all that much. I just don't. But just how this is, to be in this position exactly, to not be winning, to be in the battles, sometimes not others, all of that. And I mean, classic Eli answer. He's I still just want to win. It's all still just about winning. He's still very much motivated by that. And as we've seen him, give us a glimpse at his real personality more and more over the years of acknowledging that there is more than just racing. Yes, that is a big part of everything, but he also has a whole separate to all of it.
Yeah.
The fact that he's still so motivated and believes that he can still win is the driving force. I don't think he's lying to himself to get himself there. He really does think that he could win anytime the gate drops. It's just a matter of that first. This is what I would like to end this thing with, because I was just coming up with a question for you two. To be in the sport for as long as you guys have been in it, and we talk about the style changes or the technique changes or the minute differences that happen generation to generation, era to era in racing. It was how Ryan Villapoto did this, how Dungey did this, how McGrath did this. It's got to be weird to be in Eli's position, and a bunch of other guys too, for sure. But as we speak about Eli, to see how important the start has been. Because there was a point not that long ago, within the last 10 years of you could start 11th. You could start 12th. Yep. A couple guys could start 11th or 12th and still make the move up.
Yes.
It wasn't just one person was coming through the pack. To live so many different changes through the sport is what you really have to realize when people are the level is getting raised. The level is getting raised. It's not just that they're going faster because they're wicking the throttle up more. Yeah, that's part of it. But there's little things that become the better attribute. And do you have that skill set in your pocket or not? And if you don't, you better figure out how to get it, or you better figure out how you're going to make your other strengths outshine what your weakness is.
Yeah.
And it's just as a racer and as someone that has dedicated your life to racing, to get to this stage in your career, have amongst all the other changes of I'm pushing the limit, I'm going further into it than anybody has at a competitive level, I'm testing my body, I'm coming back from injuries, that all of that, to then have to factor in and then the whole sport just changed on what happens in the first 35 feet out of the gate and who's on what tire, has got to be wild to think about. And that's part of it. That's part of what you have to like dissect to be the whole package now.
But I also don't think, I can't remember a time where we've had this good of rider be such a good starter.
Yeah.
Because if James Stewart could get as many hole shots as Jett's getting, I think he would have done a lot of similar races.
Yeah.
You know?
I do agree.
Or Ricky Carmichael be such a good starter.
Yeah.
You know?
I think the three of us are too young for Jeremy. I think that we don't have an accurate remembrance of how good Jeremy was in the first 3 laps of his races, or the first 7 laps, or the first little bit. Oh, you know what I mean? Because Mike, I think that could be completely different.
Oh, I remember. I was probably, I'm not kidding you, Mike, I was probably the biggest Jeremy McGrath fan that there could have been. There was a night, I still remember to this day, at the LA Coliseum. I was sitting in the stands, and it was Jeremy McGrath, Sebastian Tortelli was there, and it was a mud race, and Sebastian Tortelli beat Jeremy McGrath, and I cried all the way home just because Jeremy McGrath lost. And we were all calling him, who's this tortilla guy? and it was Sebastian Tortelli. And we had no idea who he was until that point. But to Mike's point, Jeremy was like that. Jeremy got the whole shot and Dad would call it Jeremy McGrathing it, where you'd get out front, sprint 3 laps, get a gap, and then just manage the rest of the race.
Yeah.
And that's what Jeremy did. But Jeremy was so much faster than everybody else. That's
the factor.
Yes, that was the factor. Like Jeremy, you just never really knew when he got a bad start because he was so fast that he could come from like 15th to 1st in like a half a lap. You know, like everybody was so slow.
Well, especially in Supercross.
Yes, so slow. Where Jett has been, it's almost more exaggerated the start because Jett doesn't have that speed gap that Jeremy did, but he's making it up and making it look like that because he's getting good starts literally 90% of the time. Mm-hmm. But what Jett is doing is very similar to what Jeremy McGrath did in Supercross.
As far as the style of racing.
Yes. Maybe not as much sprint at the beginning of the moto, though. We seen it this weekend at Southwick, but Jeremy was always good at, like, by the time you came around by the second lap, Jeremy was out of sight enough to where you couldn't even really fight back. Mm-hmm. Where Jett just kind of slowly creeps away, and then once he gets a gap to where he's happy, he kind of settles in. This weekend, different story.
I mean, he was very comfortable at whatever speed he was going because he was just creeping away.
Yeah. All right, boys. Well, anything else? Is that the show?
If we can, I think it would be bad of us not to touch on Aiden Zing's. Yeah. And I just, I'm not going to try to say anything about it. It's just heartbreaking. And we have the 3 of us have a lot of close friends that are close friends of that family. And that's about as moto of a family as you could get, the Zing graphic family. They do a lot. They do a lot of different, they are as hands-on to make motorcycles and motorcycle races look good. Yep. And I feel for them so much, so thoughts are with the family and then with everybody attached to them.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, there was an accident up in Mammoth. Aiden Zing, Team Kawasaki rider, great kid, great family, fast rider, had an accident and passed away in Mammoth. Like Mike said, just
A great kid.
Yeah, a great kid, but is part of the Moto family, and it's just
sad.
Yeah,
it just bums us out.
And we want to give our condolences to the family and just everybody that was close to him, and you are in our thoughts and prayers, and it's just something you don't ever want to see.
No,
ever
and, don't want to see, don't want to hear, don't even ever want to think about, but it's always a possibility, unfortunately.
Yep. And want to give our condolences and pray for the family, and just I don't know. I don't have the words,
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Yep. It's something that nobody should have to go through.
If I can just interject one thing. A lot of young kids are going to need some help right now. Yeah. So if you've got a young little moto kid, really love them and really take care of them, because there's a lot of them that are really going to have to face this right now, and just really, really love your kids.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And that's all you can do. We know the risk that's involved when we throw a leg over a dirt bike, and we just really, really, really hope and pray that God is behind us and that we don't ever have to deal with it. And at Mammoth, that was one of the things that we got to deal with it. Yeah. And we just want to give as much love and support as we can to the whole Zing family, and try to help them through this hard time, and just come together as a moto community. So,
and yes, absolutely. I'm like, I've been asking myself for the last 2 days, just why or whatever. But I've also been like, Mammoth is one of those safer tracks.
Yeah.
You never would ever expect. There's probably 3 or 4 jumps on the whole entire track.
All tabletops.
Yes. And there's abundance of flaggers. The medical crew, there's 4 or 5 different medical crew that are from Mammoth Mountain that are on top of it. So it was a really, really sad deal.
Yep. Big shout out to the whole family. Like I said, if you can give your love and support in any way.
Yeah, that's all they need right now.
That's all you can give them.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all we can do. And we're giving our love and support with Track Talkers. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. And give the love and support. We'll see you guys next week. Right?
Let's go, RedBud.
RedBud. Peace out.